First thing you need to fix if you want to be a profitable trader is your setup. Setup is the starting point to becoming profitable. Many people who are in this business, who are new or who are struggling, just don't have a setup. Setup is a set of conditions which should be present for a stock to be considered for buying. Setup also consists of how much you are going to buy, where you are going to put a stop, where you are going to exit, how are you going to exit. So this setup thing is the overall, like, it's the framework which is going to determine what trades you are going to do. It is going to determine what is your basic fundamental philosophy about trading. Are you going to be are you going to trade a setup which is like based on growth stocks? Are you going to be trading a setup based on value stocks? Are you going to be trading a setup which is based on trend following? Are you going to be trading a setup which is based on a short-term price patterns in the stock market? Setup is the number one problem which traders have. They do not have a setup and they have not fixed their setups. As a result, what is happening is they're putting in a lot of effort and the output is not there, and they don't have a predictable and well thought out method to make money. Now, how can you, if you are a new trader, how can you find a setup? Today, it is much easier to find setup because of proliferation of social media. Today, you can talk to a trader on Twitter, you can talk to a trader on Instagram, you can talk to a trader on any other method. There is so much information which is freely available for a new trader today, which was not the case 20 years ago or 30 years ago, because there are no social media kind of a communication. Today, if you go to YouTube, you're going to find so much information, practical information, not only practical information, you will see actually people discussing their setups, or some of them in real time showing how they are trading their setup. So there is no excuse for a new trader to say that information is not there. And it is not as if like you need to go to paid sites to get information. Information about setups is everywhere. So if you see some of the things, like if you go to say just Google and Google for swing trading setups, you're going to find lots of information. If you're a new trader starting out, I would vacuum out all the information and try and study it and find what are the setups which people are using. Once you know what setups people are using, you might get a very good idea. If you spend 6 weeks researching the field of setups, or like depending on your time period, like if you want to become a swing trader and you only like specifically focus on swing trading setups, in 6 weeks you'll have a very good idea about what are the commonly used setups by most profitable traders. There is no secret in this business, okay? Everybody is trading similar kind of a setup. Their label might be different, their process might be different, they might have slightly tweaked one or two element of it, but there are no major secrets which you cannot find. So first, hunt for a setup idea. Places where you can hunt for a setup idea, Google is the starting point. You can look at something like YouTube. On YouTube currently, there are hundreds of traders who are putting out very quality content, and many of them are live trading on YouTube. So if you want, you can go and look at like in a swing trading USA, because you need to specify by a country, because if you try and do just a generic search, you're going to find a lot of like other countries videos showing up, which is not relevant to your market. Especially like you'll see that there is a proliferation of videos from Indian traders because they're trading the Indian market, which is not relevant to US market. So if you do, you're going to find hundreds of good ideas. Your idea should be to study this and start narrowing and understanding, look, what is it that people are using? Because once you do a work like this, you're going to get a good idea. Look, everybody is trading a breakout. Everybody is trading, almost all of them are trading either a pullback or breakout, or they are creating a watch list. And from that watch list, they are operating, or they are putting in some levels and they are operating from those levels, whether it is support or resistance. And these are very common generic kind of setup ideas which everybody is using. Not only that, what you're going to get is you're going to get a very good idea into process, because many of the people, and I have seen a lot of the videos on YouTube where people, the trader discuss their complete process, or they discuss how they scan for ideas, or they give out scans. So it is not an excuse for a new person saying, oh, information is not there, this is not there. It is just like you need to systematically go and hunt for setup ideas. Now the other place where you can look for setup ideas is Twitch. Twitch has become a very popular way of broadcasting live trading by many traders, and obviously one of the most famous one is Kulamagi. And considering that he is one of the most successful traders who took a small account to 100 million account, you see only 15,000 people are following him, which tells you that look at many people are not even looking at the right kind of sources. But on Twitch, there are many people who are doing swing trading, because obviously it is a platform for gaming, but like swing trading is like games only for many people, and you'll see a lot of them, and they will have like in a live trading sessions. They will be like in a doing a live twitching. So you can look up all these to get ideas. Your idea is to generate quality ideas, and also to get good understanding of what is it that people are doing. It's like if you want to become a millionaire in USA and you study people who are millionaires, you will get a very good idea. Look, most of the millionaires are either owning a business, or they are working at a very senior management positions, or they are lawyers, or they have some sort of careers like that, right? So you get a good idea about that. So go to Twitch, go to YouTube, go to Google, and one more source, which is very good source of finding people's ideas, is Twitter. You go to Twitter and you look at many people, most of the traders nowadays, they're very active on Twitter, right? So you can find people who are discussing their setups. Many times they discuss in live market their setups. So you get ideas. And then once you have a whole bunch of ideas, then you narrow down. And when you look at this whole bunch of ideas, what you will find is commonalities. Once you find a commonality, and you will start looking at those setup ideas, and then that setup idea, if it is something which is transparent, there are two types of traders. One kind of trader are more transparent about the process and all, and then there is a second kind of traders who are basically very secretive, or they basically have a service or something where they are going to they use the Twitter or any other field to generate people for their service, so they don't give out much in pre-public domain. But you don't need to go that route. I would say that if you have a small account and if you have small capital, your first task is to not spend a lot of money till you're sure. So I would just if I was starting out today, I'll first hunt for setups, because setup is the foundation. Luckily for me, when I was starting out, I found a setup idea which was completely fleshed out with a process and every detail about it in a book. And then I built around that, and subsequently I abandoned that and developed my own setup based on that. But you need some sort of a setup structure first. I talk to a lot of traders every day, every week, every month, both kinds who are successful and those who are struggling. And the one thing which is common amongst people who are struggling is that they don't have a setup. They have a very vague idea, or they are just picking up stocks from random process, while a setup is a specific way to make money. It's like a formula. Once you find a setup, you'll find a formula. And if you can use that formula and make it your own formula, then you will have success. I trade 3 setups: episodic pivot, which is earning based, catalyst based setup, and you can find hundreds of pages of information on my free blog on that. I trade momentum burst. Again, you'll find a lot of information about it on my free blog. And I trade anticipation setups. And I think, and I didn't count, but I would say that there must be at least 300 posts on anticipation on my blog with all the scans and process and how to generate an anticipation setup and what to look for an anticipation setup, with several examples. So there are many such setup ideas which are available to a new trader. You are living in a golden age of social media where these things are freely available. 20 years ago, if you're a starting out trader, You have to really there's no way to interact with people. Today on Twitter, you can interact with people, you can ask them questions, they will answer questions, you can send them DMs. So there is a lot of information. But if you are a beginner trader or struggling trader, everything is going to start once you have a setup. If you don't have a setup, all other problems, you might define them as psychology or all the other problems, they are secondary problem. Your first problem which you need to fix, the first problem is setup problem. Common problem people have, they don't have a setup, or they just cannot make up their mind about a setup. The moment you research and find a setup and start narrowing your focus on that setup, you will find that money will start flowing in. You will have less issues, psychological issues, you will have less process issues, and you will have more confidence because you're narrowing your focus on a setup. So if you are not making money, you're a beginner or you're struggling, first start by fixing your setup.